very fact that this recording has reached your hands is proof of my decision to leave a record of the events leading up to the imminent collapse of my mind. Though my name is ultimately irrelevant, if at any point you wish to verify aspect of my account, I present myself as Mateo Sanchez. I can't be sure how much time I have left before my memories dissolve, but as long as this recorder stays with me, my narration will continue. A few months ago, I was contacted and hired as an archivist for a rather peculiar mission: the recovery and cataloging of a bibliographic collection in a very old, abandoned library nestled deep within the desolate, mysterious Andean mountains of Peru. The library had been sealed shut for more than a decade, its doors locked with sterile officialism after the ill-fated mysterious incident, a fire that consumed much of the building and its precious contents roughly 10 years earlier. My path to this place wasn't direct. For years, I had served as a literature professor at the venerable National University of San Marcos, the oldest in the Americas. It was the Dean of the Faculty of Letters and Human Sciences, my old mentor and friend, Dr. Marcus Velasco, who invited me to join a small, select team. Our objective: to reorganize and restructure what remained of the old Jesuit library, an integral part of the historic Colegio Máximo de San Pablo. After the catastrophe that devoured countless literary treasures, my fascination with ancient books, combined with the historical weight of that place, a reliquary of colonial and pre-Hispanic knowledge, despite its wounds, it was too strong to resist. I accepted the proposal with almost reckless enthusiasm, without asking too many questions about the incident or about the library's isolation. My task, as presented to me, sounded deceptively simple: to meticulously catalog the surviving volumes, evaluate their condition, and prepare them for eventual transfer to the National Library in Lima. The work of a curator, a guardian. But the moment I reached the foot of the mountain, and even more so once I crossed the threshold of that mausoleum of paper and ink, the illusion of simplicity evaporated like mist. From the very first day, a palpable heaviness, an unnatural silence that swallowed all sound, told me something deep and inscrutable was wrong. The atmosphere was not just one of abandonment. It felt forcibly forgotten, as if the place resisted being awakened. The shadows were denser, the air colder, and the books, those few spared from the flames, seemed to harbor secrets heavier than their pages. The library stretched before me, a labyrinth of dark, ashen corridors, silent witnesses to the fire that had left it in ruins. The shelves were coated in soot and dust, and although many volumes still survived, they seemed scattered randomly. Some were so old their pages disintegrated at a touch. But one book in particular caught my attention. While walking among the surviving aisles, something jutted out from beneath the remains of a collapsed, charred shelf. It was a titleless tome, bound in roughly worked black leather, and strangely, it felt warm to the touch. Its condition was markedly better than that of any other surviving book. Given this oddity, and the peculiar way I found it, I decided to name it immediately: the Archive of Oblivion. Opening it for the first time sent a chill through me, a mixture of ecstasy, wonder, and confusion. Despite its undeniable age, the contents were pristine and perfectly legible. Written in elegant 18th century colonial Spanish italics, the title revealed itself several pages in, The Breviary of the Shattered Sun. From the very first page, I understood the historical and literary jewel I held. It was a grimoire, attributed to none other than Pope Clement XII. This pontiff, blind and bedridden for much of his papacy, confessed in the book that he had pretended his visions and recurring dreams were merely symptoms of his ailments. The yellowed, delicate pages unfolded before me a disturbing methodical cosmology. At its core were detailed, almost surgically precise instructions for a series of prayers he called the rites of reversion. They weren't mere devotional supplications, they were part of a sophisticated and sinister spiritual and mnemonic engineering program. Their purpose was radical: to achieve the annulment of the self in relation to a specific event, a sort of ontological erasure designed to eliminate certain past occurrences not only from the practitioner's memory, but supposedly from the very fabric of reality. A recurring requirement was the sacrifice of an immutable object, something that had remained physically unchanged since the event one intended to erase. It served as a temporal anchor, a transfer point for the energy of forgetting. Examples were clear: an antique coin minted the year of the event, a stone from the foundation of the house where it occurred, a small metal brooch never bent or broken. Destroying this immutable object was the offering that initiated the inversion of personal time. According to Clemente, the core of reversion was extreme, a 3-day sleepless vigil. During this sensory and cognitive deprivation, the practitioner was to write a complete description of the event from pure memory. No notes, no journals, no external reference. The purity of remembrance was essential. While writing, the practitioner had to recite a litany in what the manuscript called the angelic tongue, guttural, vibrating phonemes said to unlock the pathways of reversion. The ritual climax came when the text was finished. The practitioner had to drink the ink with which the memory had been written. The act of consuming the memory was both symbolic and literal, the consummation of erasure. Clemente claimed this arcane knowledge came from a being he identified as Yawirka, an angelic entity communicating with him through intense, vivid dreams. These dreams revealed cosmic and divine mysteries beneath a structure of time, memory, and the erasure of the past. The rites were merely the practical application. I initially dismissed all of this as an invention. I even doubted Clemente's authorship, given he was the first pope to openly condemn secret societies with the 1738 Bull in Eminenti. But as I delved deeper, fascination overtook me. I confess, with some shame, that I even began to wish the rites were real, that I could erase certain events of my own life. I kept the book to myself, determined to finish reading it and return it personally at the end of the mission. After a long day of sorting medical treatises and scientific dissertations, I slipped away from my colleagues one night and headed to a hidden corner of the library, my private refuge, to continue reading. I remembered leaving a bookmark where I'd stopped, but when I opened the book, I froze. The page was blank, perfectly blank, as if ink had never touched it. Then I saw my name on the next page. At first, I blamed the dim light, some kind of optical illusion, but no. The next page, centered like a personal epitaph, held a chilling phrase: "You were never an only child." A cold, liquid fear poured into my stomach. My breath nodded. I slammed the book shut, fighting the irrational urge to burn it, to erase that revelation before it took root in my mind. That night, sleep was not rest. It was a forced immersion into another reality. I dreamed with painful clarity of a twin brother, identical to me, but weighed down by a melancholy I had never known. We played in the backyard, shared secrets under a blanket, held each other after scraped knees and bicycle falls. I was there, alive, palpable, but I was the second one, the other. I woke up drenched in sweat, the echo of a child's laughter, not my laughter, ringing in my ears. The shock intensified when I saw what lay on my nightstand, a family photo album that hadn't been there before. With trembling hands, I opened it. And there we were. Dozens of photos. Birthdays, Christmases, vacations. Both of us smiling, holding hands. They weren't edits or fabrications. They were snapshots of a shared life. A past that hadn't existed for me until hours earlier. The manuscript's 5 cryptic words had rewritten my past, grafting a twin life into my loneliest memories. The rites were acting through me, unconsciously altering reality. At first, I tried to ignore it. Stress, I told myself. Maybe a cruel joke, but the book kept changing things. Each time I opened it, a new sentence altered a key event in my life. Your mother didn't die of cancer. She drowned in a lake. The next day, a frantic aunt called me, claiming she had found documents about an accidental drowning in a remote town. Terror drove me to research obsessively. I scoured the web, obscure forums, conspiracy testimonies, desperate for validation. That's when I found references to Yawirka, the devourer of memories, worshipped by a forgotten cult. Ancient Andean legends spoke of a force dwelling in the mountain shadows, feeding on the stories, the lives, the memories of those who invoked it. Forbidden books had served for centuries as portals, interdimensional openings. And I, foolishly, blindly, had touched one. The nights became sleepless. I began hearing whispers from deep corners of the library. Voices, speaking in languages I couldn't comprehend, resonating inside my skull like distorted echoes. Sometimes, in the few minutes of sleep I managed, I woke convinced someone, or something, had been watching me. And I saw silhouettes among the shelves. Human shapes, but wrong. Always disappearing when I tried to approach. One night, while crossing the main archive, I stumbled upon an unusually dark, unfamiliar corridor. Behind one of the few surviving shelves, I found a hidden compartment filled with ancient scrolls and grotesque drawings, depictions of incomprehensible, aberrant entities. One drawing clearly showed Yawirka, a shapeless mass of putrid flesh floating in an infinite void, surrounded by broken chains and dismembered bodies. The truth finally hit me. The book wasn't a relic, it was a prison. Yawirka was trapped in a dimensional limbo, confined between the physical and the ethereal by ancient cosmic catastrophes. Centuries ago, Renaissance-era scholars, Masons, fearful yet fascinated, had attempted to study and control its power, refining the rites associated with the entity. But its prison was failing. Its slumber was ending. I remembered classified reports and forgotten academic papers describing strange magnetic fluctuations, not only in our sun, but in nearby stars. These anomalies weren't natural phenomena. They were the tremors of Yawirka struggling to awaken. Each time I opened the book, each innocent reading, I loosened the lock, released slivers of its consciousness into our world. These were not mere psychic emissions. They were seeds, malevolent mental shards seeking hosts. Once implanted, they turned the host into an acolyte, a puppet whose intellect remained intact, maintaining the illusion of autonomy, while Yawirka ruled from the background. The ultimate purpose, to accelerate its return. The rituals in the grimoire were not prayers, but dimensional engines designed to shatter the veil between realities. The end goal was twofold: to free Yawirka completely, and to incarnate it physically through the flesh of its chosen host. The book I had named The Archive of Oblivion was a key, forged in the madness of a prior universe, and every time I read it, I turned the lock. I decided to burn it, but the flames died instantly. Then I remembered a line from one scroll. Only he who renounces his own memory can seal the devourer again. That night, the forest around the library felt denser, suffocating. My nerves buzzed with dread as I walked into the dark with only a dying flashlight. In a small clearing under the waning moon, I saw them. The cult. Not spectral beings or monsters. Something far worse. 11 familiar silhouettes gathered around a fire. They were chanting in a guttural, pulsating language I had never heard. Each syllable vibrated in my bones, and their faces, lit by the fire's uneven glow, were faces I knew. My 11 colleagues, linguists, conservators, academics, now hollow vessels. Their eyes were empty, synchronized movements devoid of individual will. We had come to save knowledge, and they were about to unleash destruction. And the question that froze my blood: was I next? One of them spotted me, Elias Vasquez, who had also been a student of Dr. Marcus Velasco, just like me. A man once warm, insightful, now a vacant shell. He said nothing, just raised a hand and pointed at me. And I understood. I was no longer invisible. Yesterday, the book wrote a new line. Renounce your identity, and the devourers will leave you in peace. I tried to resist, but I no longer recognized the face in the mirror. My memories slip away like sand through trembling fingers. I don't know who I am anymore. Before I go, I want to ask you something. What are we if our decisions were never ours? If everything we believe about ourselves can be erased with a few words written in a cursed book, then what remains of our essence?
Subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss the story.